Okay. Shalom, 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 shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Giving double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Peace and salutations to the Akim and the brethren out there on the highways and byways pushing this truth in 100% sincerity. And peace and salutations to the few and sincere sisters who believe in this gospel. So I want to entitle this lesson, Pride Goeth Before Destruction, right? And just land backing off of the lesson that we did, the class lesson that we did yesterday, and, speaking on the pride of this devil, the pride of this Edomite, right? Because, this devil is super prideful, right? Prideful to the umpteenth degree, right? Arrogant, thinking that they just got it all in the bag and they got everything set. And little do they know, it's definitely not going to turn out in their favor, right? It's going to turn out in the favor of the Israelites, right? So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, starting first and foremost with the elect of the nation of Israel, right? And although it looks a little bleak or dim for us at this moment, we know through the scriptures, we know through prophecy that victory is um, set in stone for righteousness, right? And victory is set in stone for the Israelites or Yasha Allah, right? So we don't have to worry. We don't have to worry about what this devil is going to do and what he's going to bring. One, we already know what he's going to bring, right? It's prophesied here in the scriptures. And we're seeing it happen right before our eyes, right? We're seeing these things come to pass right before our eyes. So we don't really have to worry and think. You know what I mean? We don't have to worry and think too hard on, what's going to happen. Because ultimately what's going to happen is all in the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. But these devils, they don't look at it like that. They don't see it as that. They see it as something, you know what I mean? They see it as something of their own doing, right? But let's read this. I'm going to start with Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 18. It says, Pride goeth before destruction, and an haughty spirit before a fall. Better it is to be of an humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud, right? So it's better to be of a lowly, humble, contrite spirit because, right, the proud, the people who seem to have success in this life, right? They seem to have success, have riches, have women, have power, and all of these things, right? But it's gotten by what? It's gotten by ill-gotten gain, or it's gotten by um, deceitful, uh, uh, deceitful ways, right? So these people still, even though they seem successful on the surface, they really don't have success, right? Because the things that they have today are perishable, and they're gonna perish. They're gonna perish away with the destruction of Babylon the Great. And what does the scripture say in the book of Second Peter? It says, "All the works, the earth and all its works therein shall be burned up," right? And not the entire earth, literally being burned up, but speaking on all of the ways of this kingdom, right? This kingdom of Esau, all the ways, the ideologies, philosophies, the works, the doings, the deeds, all of those pertaining to this kingdom are going to be burned up, right? And that's what the Lord is going to do for his elect, because the Lord is going to usher in a righteous kingdom, a kingdom of righteousness, right? So let's go here to the book of Sirach, chapter 10, and I'm going to start at verse 7. It says, Pride is hateful before the Most High and man, and by both doeth one commit iniquity. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one place to another. Why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man, for such an one setteth his own soul to sale, because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels, right? So a lot of these people who you see having major successes, fame, riches, and all of that, a lot of them have sold out, right? They've sold out either to Esau Edom, they've sold out to wicked spirits, Satan, and they've ultimately sold out to unrighteousness, right? Because when you look at what a lot of these celebrities and Hollywood and entertainment and even certain aspects of the business world, a lot of things that they got to do to get where they get, especially when it comes to getting fame and all of that stuff, man, they got to do a lot of compromising acts. They got to do a lot of things that higher ups can have on them to mainly just keep them in line and keep them in control, keep them under control. You know what I'm saying? That's really the main reason. But it's like, I can't remember where I got this from. It was a show, but like you can't trust nobody who you ain't got dirt on. That's their belief. You can't trust anyone who you don't have dirt on, because really ultimately you can't trust anybody who you can't control. Right? When you have dirt on somebody or when you blackmail somebody, you have a level of control over them now. Right? There's an aspect of control over that person, because they might not want particular information to get out to the public or get out to the world, right? But that's why the scriptures say, we're supposed to be harmless as doves, wise as serpents, harmless as doves, right? We're supposed to be, no charge can be against us, right? That's why we focus on preaching the word. We focus on the gospel, focus on the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? And we don't do too much outside of that, right? Unlike a lot of other camps, they put a lot of extras on the ministry. They're making music, doing fundraisers, trying to start communities, doing all of these things, doing particular things for, you know, community and all of that stuff, right? Which, it may say community is bad. I mean, it's not bad, but hey, look at what, for example, look at what the Black Panthers were doing back in the '60s, right? They had community outreach. They had things going on for the community, but what happened? Utterly, they were demonized, right? And now we're still gonna be this whole truth is gonna be demonized to this world anyway, as it already is being. Okay, so like, yeah, I'm sitting here talking and let me make sure my microphone was off. It should be good now, Lord willing. It should be good now. Didn't know it was off though. But anyway. ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved. I shall never be in adversity, right? They think they're going to be good. They really think that they're going to be good forever. They think ain't nothing going to happen. They think that there's no recompense going to be had for what they've done to the people of the Lord, for what they've done in chattel slavery, Jim Crow, post Jim Crow, and just all of the wickedness that they've gone about pushing throughout the world, throughout the earth, heaping themselves upon every nation that they can, taking their resources, killing off the people, you know what I'm saying, deceiving the people too, putting in puppet leaders to do the bidding of the elite. All of these things that these Edomites have done. And they honestly don't think that there's going to be a judgment for that. They don't think that there's going to be a recompense for that. But that's why the Lord sent us out here. One of our jobs is to let these heathen know what their judgment is, especially Esau. It's to let Esau know his judgment and what's going to happen to his ass. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, he's going to be put into captivity for 1,000 years and then be eradicated from the earth. That's according to Scripture. Obadiah 1:18. And when we, especially nowadays, right? When we say these things, we got to make sure that we're relating it to the Scriptures. We can't speak as our own, on our own accord. We got to speak on the accord of the Scriptures, right? Because that's going to justify us before Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Because they can lay no charge against the elect. They can lay no charge against the men of the Lord. As the scriptures say, there shall be no guile that comes from them. Right? Guile meaning deceit, lies. Verse 7 says, his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. And that's what they do. Deceive, lie. You know what I'm saying? Talk shit. Make false promises. Make false covenants. Make false treaties. This is what this devil does. And this is all done in his pride and in wickedness. Verse 8, he sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places do he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. Right? Because they try and act like they care about the poor. They don't care about the poor. They don't care about the lowly. They don't care about people who are less fortunate. All they really care about, and they don't care about you middle class folks either. And they don't care about you lower level rich folks either. Right? And I'm talking about, people who, you might have, a few million in income, but you're not like on celebrity status, right? Like a LeBron James or Steph Curry or Jason Tatum, speaking about these guys who have multi-million dollar contracts, right? You may be somebody who may be bringing in $1 million, $2 million a year, right? You're one of the lower level rich people, right? They don't care about y'all either. This devil is trying to take everything that he can from the common people, the common folk. He's trying to take everything he can. Verse 9, he lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doeth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. Right? So yeah, man, that's his goal, right? To deceive, catch the poor up, and take what he can from the poor. Take what he can from really everybody, but mainly specifically when it's talking about these elite, People who aren't on their level, man, they just trying to, they just trying to take everything that they can from the people, man. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer, right? But riches are not going to be able to save them from the day of the Lord. If you don't have the spirit, faith, belief, and ultimately the right hand hedge on your life, you're gonna be destroyed, decimated, executed, all that, famished, everything. So, with that, I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Chakodash. Lord willing, this video lesson was edifying. And until next